Hi, everyone. Hope everyone got a bit of rest, some drinks, etc., for our break. And I am excited for our next session. So this panel is full of friends, which is lovely for me. And it is all about how music startups actually are an important driver of the music industry ecosystem. I don't think they are talked about nearly enough. And so I wanted the opportunity to talk about why they're important, who's doing stuff in that space, why they are the backbone of the music industry, and especially in the age of layoffs and so much uncertainty that's happening in the industry, why paying attention to startups is really important. And so, with that, I am going to bring our moderator, Babby, up to the stage. Hello.
Amazing. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me, Christine.
Thank
Lovely
you. Oops. Whoops.
morning to some people and good afternoon. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. My name is Yanti, and I'm going to be the host for this session. For most of you that don't know me, I'm very aware of that. I'm the founder of the Solga Collective, which is a community and live events platform for female musicians. Super excited to be hosting this panel discussion with three amazing founders. We've got Diana from Real Count, we've got Alex from Unheard, and we've got Paulina from High Note. So thank you so much, guys, for attending. Really excited to get into this discussion. And thank you so much for Christine for bringing us all together as well. I think we can all agree that she is an absolute powerhouse in the music industry, and we're super grateful for all the work she does, really, to platform us all and platform people like us as well. So thank you so much. So today we're going to be talking about sustainability and what that looks like for a music startup in 2026. A bit of background about me, maybe you don't care about this, but I'm going to say it anyway. When I started my career, I wanted to be a startup investor. And one of the things that I noticed was that music companies were being left out of the conversation. And I think that's partly because investors really just didn't have an understanding of the music industry and music companies. And I think that's changing now, which is good, which is great. I'm really happy about that. But we've still got a long way when it comes to educating investors about the opportunities within the music industry. So I hope this conversation helps that. And at the same time, the landscape is changing. So we've got loads of new market entrants coming in and disrupting the space, which I think is a great thing. But we're now in a position where music companies are also having to educate the consumer too about this changing landscape. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking and I want to get into the founder discussion, and I'm really excited to hear from these amazing founders. So let's start off with a few introductions. So if we want to go around the horn, and if you guys want to introduce yourselves and tell us a bit about your company and what mission you're trying to solve. And we can start with Diana, because I can see you.
Hi, everybody. Very happy to be here. I'm Diana Greenmore, coming to you all from London currently. I'm the founder of a platform called Real Count. What we do is we help teams in live entertainment track their ticket sales across any platforms. So we ingest data from about 240 plus different ticketing platforms daily. And if you've ever had to deal with ticket counts working in live music, that's pretty much what we solve. So we automate that process and create a data environment, and excited to chat more about that.
Okay. Paulina, do you want to go next?
Yeah, totally. Hey, y'all. I'm Paulina Vo. I am based in Brooklyn, based in New York, and I am the co-founder of a company called High Note. It's a platform where you can talk about music, upload reactions, chat, and talk specifically and have discussions just specifically around audio. In addition to that, I am a co-founder and the GM at a music community called The Digilog. We are a very BIPOC focused music education and artist discovery and resources platform/community. And I see some folks here as well from that community. So excited to be here.
Cool.
And my name's Alex, and thanks for joining us on a Friday evening. Oh, it's Friday evening in London, but I guess like Friday morning, afternoon if you're in LA or wherever. But thank you for joining. I'm the founder of a company called Unheard. We're a music tech company, and we help artists find their most valuable fans across the streaming and social media landscape. So, what I saw, I worked at a major label as an analyst, and what I saw was that there were these incredibly talented independent artists creating awesome music, but not cutting through the noise. And it wasn't because the music wasn't great. In my opinion, it was because they didn't have the marketing knowledge wrapped around them to help them cut through the noise. And so that's what I wanted to change. I wanted to democratize access to robust and data-led marketing services, such that every artist has a fair chance of success on their own terms. And so that's what we've been doing for the last 4 years. We have just less than 200,000 artists on the platform. And yeah, we're sort of, I guess, halfway through our mission. We've done some good stuff, but more good stuff to come.
Love it. I love a good founder story. So thank you for giving us that background, Alex. Cool. So I'm going to go straight into it and ask a question to you all. So what does sustainability actually mean for a music startup in 2026? Are you aiming for profitability, survival, so just keeping the lights on, cultural impact, or all of the above? All of the above.
All of
Obviously.
Always, always, bro.
I'll say for us, because it's fairly poignant for us. We are trying to get to profitability now. We've invested, we've raised a bit of capital, we've invested a bit of capital, and in my opinion, over the last 12 to 18 months, it's become really, really challenging to scale aggressively in sort of the current macroeconomic climate. And so what that means is that you then sort of taper your plans slightly or change your direction slightly, such that you can build a business that has longevity. And isn't. If you looked at this 5 or 6 years ago, growth at all costs, was being thrown around quite a lot. Just growing and spending money to grow. That's not the case now. I don't think the climate allows for that. And so for us, profitability is within arm's reach, and that's what we're going for, to build something that has longevity and is sustainable. We want to be here in 10 years' time when the same problem, no doubt, will be there when independent artists are trying to cut through the noise, and we want to be solving that for a long period of time.
Nice.
Yeah. I'll jump in on our end. We reached profitability pretty recently, which was really exciting after many years of day in, day out.
Everybody, profitability.
Yeah. So it's been really great. So this year is about continuing to scale our platform to, just bring in more users, more tourists, and really become like a very important part of the infrastructure of live touring and ticketing. So we just want to stay the course, not looking to raise anymore, but with our profits, hoping to, expand our impact and expand the team a bit.
Yeah. What got you to that profitability inflection point? Was it scale, or was it something in your product that kind of just clicked, or something else?
Yes, it was scale. It was, we've been working on some big enterprise level contracts. So getting, a couple of those in the bag really made a big difference. But these enterprise agreements and customers, it's a long journey. It's not something that's done overnight. So I'm just really happy we're in a place that, we're going to be able to help those teams.
Nice. And that, business to business, just reaching out to people. You didn't have to do any like ad marketing or anything like that. I guess you just leverage your networks and
a lot of network, a lot of conferencing, some posts on LinkedIn, but mostly the impacts, I think, for live music and live touring specifically. Conference introductions, people have this pain point and they find us one way or another. And that's really been our go-to. It's much different if it's B2B, which we are. It's very different than the consumer B2C route for sure.
Yeah. And I guess for you, Alex, you're just kind of like funneling a lot of money into ads and things, and trying to get that scale and trying to meet as many artists as possible at, you know, music events and artist conferences and
that's it. Yeah, we call them the prosumer, really. So it's like beta,
yeah.
prosumer, whatever. And partnerships have actually been great for us, to be
Nice.
honest. And that's been a big acquisition channel for us. So partnering with CD Baby or SoundCloud or Fiverr.com or blah blah blah. So we've got these great partnerships which drive a lot of volume. And actually, for us, it's less about the volume; it's more about finding the right types of that long tail of artist. You know, because some of them are fleeting and they give it a go and then off they go. Others are more professional and have a bit more ambition perhaps, and they want to make this a career. So those are the guys we want. You know, those are the people that we want in the platform who are committed to this for at least 12 months.
Yeah. Artists aren't a monolith, you know? Different types of artists. Yeah. Paulina?
Yeah, Alex and I have similar kind of audiences. We are more B2C. So in our world, I would say right now it's a mix of sustainability, just keeping everything going while we continue to like experiment with various go-to-market methods. And it's funny because I will admit, coming into this, despite me working in many startups, go to market was such like a weird word to me because I was like, yeah, we have a program, we launch it, and you know, people hopefully come. And you learn really fast that that's not necessarily the case when no one knows who you are. Just in case anyone didn't know that part of it. And to be fair, I come from the upside. So like my world has always been more about making things more efficient and just trying to drive, you know, things to go faster, building programs that make sense and scale. So I say all that because the way we've pivoted, it's like we are sustaining, we are doing our thing. We do obviously make a little bit of MRR. However, yeah, it's been between we have our prosumers and like our current go to market is focused on curators and bringing artists into the platform that way. Since High Note is more of a space to collaborate on audio and talk about audio, our big driver has definitely been, yeah, just like grassroots community, lots of conversations, lots of showing up to places, even if we are not sponsoring them, but supporting any community, doing any type of creation or supporting artists in general. So yeah, similar to Alex in that way. I think Diana and I run into each other a lot as well, but I think as definitely as founders and being in the industry, but it is interesting. We do have different spaces that we show up for sure.
Yeah. And what do you think will take you to get to the next level? Do you think it's refining the product a bit more, or do you think it's just kind of getting out there more scale? What do you
Our
think?
focus right now is definitely on the marketing efforts for sure.
Marketing. Okay.
Yeah, and that's on the High Note side. Obviously, Digital X side is totally different, but I'm a community girl through and through, so it's definitely been resonating the most for our specific audience.
Yeah, I love the Digilog, and you built an amazing brand and community there. And I'm sure that you can take a lot of learnings from building that community to the High Note as well, which is really cool. Cool. Should we go on to the next question? So I've got a question for you, Diana. So when people talk about music data, streaming is usually the first thing that comes to mind. So how do you navigate building a startup focused on data in the live event space rather than streaming data, which is something that most, you know, consumers, businesses are interested in?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the music data ecosystem, obviously, like music consumption is key. Then you also have like social channels, and those are really data that people are like studying very focusedly. But in the live event space, that while they look at that, at the end of the day, it's all about ticket sales. And there are just so many different ticket platforms. So it becomes, you know, when I was like speaking to investors and, you know, practicing our pitch with whoever would listen, having to tell the story of that, the only way that people track ticket sales across, you know, Ticketmaster, Access, Dice, eTix, all of it is by hand. And they were just like, wait, What do you mean? So it was a huge education process to those who have not worked in the live industry yet, because this is proprietary data. It's not typically publicly available. It's more like teams are collecting it if you're an event stakeholder. So it's really important to the bottom line at the end of the day, whether you're making a percentage of the gross or you just don't want to play to an empty room. So there was a lot of education when it comes to speaking with investors, even speaking with like people that I'd meet and try to tell them what we did. They said, oh, there's not something for that already. And we're like, no, that's why we're out here to build it. However, speaking to anybody in live entertainment, our pain points, like we just say, yeah, we solve ticket counts, we work with that, and they get it right away, and they're usually quite excited. So I think it's about, number one, communicating how difficult the problem is, sharing our solution, and then saying that it's a really important data layer that really flows into other platforms and takes part in the marketing. It's great to compare against streaming and socials. So it's really just a layer of the data ecosystem for music that people haven't had full access to before across so many different platforms. So yeah, a little bit about
You
that.
can count me in.
Yeah,
I run events all the time, and I'm signed up to Eventbrite, Dice, Luma, and I'm like, how am I tracking this? Who's gonna turn up? I don't know.
Well, we can talk.
Amazing! I'm sold. I'm sold. I'm so excited. I'm genuinely excited. So cool.
Love it.
Great. Okay, so you've got one customer. That's great. Nice. Okay, cool. Paulina, I've got a question for you.
Yes.
So you've got both a product-led and community-led organization. How does sustainability look different across those models, and why is it important to value more than just tech companies?
Oh, I mean, yes. So let me just to kind of bring it back to. So I've been running Digitalog now. We just are 10 years this year. So we are deep. And it's started as like a 16-person meetup at the Microsoft store in like Midtown. And it has just like blossomed so much. So I don't want to say it's by accident, but I think when you're building with community in mind, and I think a lot of people here know this, and only community in mind, you're just hoping people show up to your birthday party, right? Like you're just throwing a bunch of birthday parties and you're just hoping people continue to show up, and then the next time you want to give the community something else to show up for, whether it's other people, partners, like whatever it may be. And then you start learning, like you can be a resource, right? So it's like a lot of just like stacking and learning until like, the 5th or 6th year, and you start understanding what your community wants, I think. And I've built a few communities, and this has been obviously our oldest and strongest. So I think that is sustainable in the way that it requires like mental and, I don't want to say it's like mental and like service spiritual in a very strange way, like grit, right? It comes from a place of like everything we make revenue wise goes directly back to the community, which is very different from running a tech company. We did raise traditionally on the high note side from VC and angels, and from more like institutional spaces. And like Diana, like you mentioned, there's a lot of education. I mean, we talked about that, Fabi, at the beginning. It is true. Like the music space requires a lot of education. So when we had high note, when we started high note and started pitching, yes, a lot of education, a lot of ways to showcase like this is the graph, right? Like classic business meeting stuff. I'm really dumbing it down, but it's more than that. But classic techie, sharky kind of conversations around how do you monetize music? That's just the truth of it. It's hard because I think as musicians ourselves and music fans, it's difficult to be that cut and dry. But at the end of the day, like the music industry and audio is a place to build a business and have a sustainable one. So to answer that kind of more succinctly, I think like it just takes kind of two different engines running in parallel. And personally, and I think what a lot of people in my world hope for, is that the bridge between like being able to have that community mindset, advocacy mindset, partnered with a business sustainability mindset, like that's ideal for all of us, right? So I think it's really just, can you have the brain for both things? And then at the end of the day, like, you know, you keep moving for as long as you can. And that's really the answer to that. I'll be honest. I'm like so deep in it some days that I'm just like today, literally, you know, I'm very deep in it. So I can come from a 10-year anniversary party to then like come into like, oh shoot, how do we like increase the revenue on this thing, this pricing model the next day? So it feels at odds, but I think if you have a strong like center, it can be something that can be successful.
God forbid you started another company, but let's just say if you did, what route would you take? Would it be community driven first, or would it be like, I've got this product and I'm kind of like going to market with it? Or, I mean, I guess it depends on the product that you're building.
I would say it depends. Yeah, but like personally, I think going from VC versus like a bootstrapped, those two entities, neither are easier than the other. I thought having VC money would be so great. And it was great until you need more, or, you know, until you're not hitting the goals that you set out to do, which is, Alex, you mentioned earlier, in our environment, like it's very different than it was however many years ago. But if I were to do it again, I would bootstrap it, and who says I'm not already doing it again? And then also, because I'm a crazy person, but it would not be like VC backed probably at this point. Probably more community driven. No, I would probably want to make revenue. Yeah, it'd be different.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just so fascinated by the dialogue, so I'm going to go back to that just very quickly.
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, the dialogue feels like a purpose-driven company. Yeah. Would you say so?
Yeah. And Digilog, yeah.
Sorry, the Digilog. What did I say?
No, you're good. We're here. We're having conversation.
We are having a dialogue, so
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Digilog, exactly. So did that come from serving a personal like need of yours? Was you serving a personal problem? And then Yeah.
I think everyone here is, I think, similar to me. Like, I didn't come from a traditional, like, you know, went to XYZ conservatory school or anything like that. I came from scaling tech teams and being an indie musician. So bridging that gap and providing resources for other people to pivot, because we need the talent in the industry. And we need artists that understand business, right? It's kind of all those things. That's primarily, I think, why Digilog exists and why we continue to like push forth that mission.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's just it's such an authentic brand, and you can see that from a mile away. So, I love it.
Vabi, can I just say, whilst we're talking about community, is
yes,
we did this survey about 6 months ago now, where we went out to our community of artists, and we're asking them mainly sort of product-based questions, to be honest. Like, we wanted to learn what was working, what wasn't working, what features should we be building, you know. And actually, what was really interesting is that by far the answer that artists came back to us most with around like what was their pain point, like what were they feeling, was they were lonely, you know. And like I was so surprised by that, because I was expecting like artists are feeling frustrated because there aren't enough playlist curators out there to be pitching to, or like whatever. But it was like, look, we want peers, like we want community. We're lonely. We want to speak to and share our music with peers and get feedback. So, you know, I just wanted to add that in there because, you know, we weren't expecting that result. And, you know, Paulina's built such an amazing community with the Digilog. And I think it's so important that that these opportunities present themselves to artists to join these communities and share, and, you know, like we're sharing now. I think this is so important.
Definitely.
That's amazing.
Definitely.
That's amazing.
Artists aren't that cool. Sometimes they just want to have a conversation too.
They're cool. They're cool as well.
I mean, yeah, I was just saying they can do.
Don't worry.
They can have dimensions. It's all good.
Exactly. I'm joking. So Alex, so this question for you. So you recently raised via crowdfunding. Congratulations. Have you completed that crowdfund?
We have, yeah, we've done it.
Amazing.
Mm.
Everybody cheer. So what made you choose that model over a more traditional VC or angel round? And this is very relevant to me actually, because I am going through this process now. So I'm very curious about why you went down that route.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny, we're talking about community, and it was because of community, and actually it was because what we had, and it wasn't about the fundraising. I wasn't doing a crowdfunder to raise money, to be honest with you, although that is a proxy of what happens. But what I wanted to do is give back, because we've been doing this for 4 years now, and without artists, we don't have a business. And I was sat there and I was thinking, like, wow, artists are spending money on our platform. That some of these artists have been with us since day one, when our product like never worked at all, but they still stuck with us. They believed in what we were doing. And I want to win. Obviously, we all want to sit here and we want to win, and win. It can be defined as different things, but for me, it's building something that has an impact. Like, I want to have an impact, and so if we can do that, maybe there's an exit at the end, and actually, I would, and maybe this is silly to say, but I would hate to get to that point and not be able to share that, with the community. And so, what we wanted to do is two things: give our artists the opportunity to invest in Unheard, such that if we were successful, we all benefit. And you could invest like £10, or like £15. It didn't have to be a lot of money. And then two is when you're invested in something, you feel like you want to lean in a little bit more, and you want to be part of that, perhaps more than you would if you were just it was a transactional relationship. And that was the other thing we wanted to do, is really foster that community, build more advocacy around the brand, and build stronger relationships with sort of our super users, or those that really have believed in us. So it wasn't about the money. Some money came as a result of it, and that was great. But we had sort of 250 artists investing, and we're very grateful for that, and hopefully we can all benefit at the end.
That is really exciting. That's very cool, and really nice to hear that 250 artists invested as well. That's very cool. Did you come up with like a reward structure or anything for the artists?
We do. Yeah, we do have rewards. So anything from like a free annual membership, all the way up to dinner with me and the team.
Oh, dinner with the team. What were you having for dinner? What did you have for dinner?
We'll go as bougie as we possibly can, without wasting the money.
Nobu it is amazing.
That's a lot.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Congrats. So what are your experiences with fundraising, Paulina and Diana? How has that been for you?
Diana, go for it.
Okay, yeah. So, well, we bootstrapped for the first year and a half, maybe. I left my job. My background is like mostly talent booking, music agency stuff. So I left that job to start to build Real Count, bootstrapped it for like the first year and a half, maybe. Then had some amazing friends and family who invested small amounts, which was just so cool. And then we got, then we went to like a private investor came in, which was awesome. And then the latest investing that we got was from a strategic round from Chartmetric, sponsors of this, which was really awesome. So, it was one of those things I knew nothing about, and sometimes I still don't think I don't know anything about it, but you just kind of learn as you're doing. And we intentionally, I took a lot of meetings with VCs, but really just to practice and learn more about investing and like honing our product and pitch. I think it's really valuable for anybody who's trying to build a company. There are so many people at VCs who it's their job to take meetings. So take one, practice. Doesn't have to be real at all. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we just knew that like VCs weren't going to be interested in us, nor like that much, and nor did we want the pressure of VC. And so we wanted, partners that believe in us and our team, and then also understand the ecosystem a little bit more and are in it for the long haul, and know that, the live industry that's been doing something the same way for 30 years is going to take a little time to change their ways. So that has been our story. I mean, it's like a whole journey, raising capital. So I don't
Tell
know,
me
have
about
fun with it.
tell me about that first email that you got saying, I'm gonna invest X. What did you do? What did you say? How did you celebrate?
Oh, I think our first big check, I think I had a panic attack.
What?
I was just like, oh my God, this is so real. I was in a car and I was just like, I think we need to pull over. But then afterwards, popped open a bottle of champagne. So
love it. We're celebrating. Amazing.
Yeah.
I
know we don't have I know we don't have a ton of time, but yeah, no, we did go the VC route, very traditional, but we raised at the end of 2021. So we had kind of the tail end of the classic, like get one yes and 17 yeses will follow. And so I say it like that because it's nothing like that now. It's every year the goalposts move and things shift and you have to go get money from a lot of different types of people. So on my team, we're pretty underrepresented founders, me and my co-founder. So we just struggled a lot with that. So luckily we have help as well in terms of like, we were able to go to funds that represented untraditional founders, which was really, really wonderful. And so we got a lot of support from like City of New York, like Barclays Center, groups and funds that really believe in that mission, actually, to your point, Diana. So I will say like that was what our focus was for a long time and is, and we found a lot of really great VCs actually through that route. So yeah, we have VCs in Philadelphia and Delaware, and they're all just really great just coaches as well. So that's been really cool. But our race is also a lot different from, I think, other teams, unfortunately. But it is what it is. And the VC pitch is still the same, no matter who your VC is. So that has definitely been our experience. Plus a ton of great angels and, all the routes that we can to get some sort of, and of course, regular, like, what is the word I'm looking for? Like enterprise customers and stuff, right? So we have that going for us as well. But yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome. Do you get investors hitting you up now, and do you have to say no?
We wish. No, it's not like that. It's funny. I feel like maybe it used to be like that, but we get more angels hitting us up than we do.
So
like
yeah, you're saying no.
I think there's a lot of spam investors out there. That's
the world is weird. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Separate panel. The world is weird.
Yeah.
Investing in 2026. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Let's move on to the next question. We've got 30 minutes to go, I guess. Or
7
minutes.
Okay. I'm a terrible host. Clearly.
You're doing great.
Great.
Oh my goodness. Should we go to questions in the chat then? We've got 7 minutes. I did not realize that. Sorry, I thought we had an hour. Goodness me.
I'm not.
Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask?
I see one.
Our lovely founders.
I see one from Luca.
Okay.
How do you balance wanting to build something with impact in the industry and taking care of yourself and peers? Sleep, mental health. I'll give a really quick answer. I think it's understanding that Rome wasn't built in a day. Slowly just doing the best you can. And some days that's maybe opening up your computer and then closing it. Taking care of yourself first when you can, where you can, and making sure that, building community, and just remembering that like you are not your job, but or your platform that you've built. But again, Rome wasn't built in a day, iterative process, and just really understanding that. Hard some days, super easy others.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard to find balance when you're also passionate about something. I think that's something I struggled with for sure. Is like, I am very passionate about Unheard, and I want to make this a big thing. And so you complete, just speaking from my own experience, you completely lose the balance, and you go all in on this thing, and you have to sort of remind yourself, oh, that's actually more to life than just this. And I think two things have kept me sane throughout this whole experience, away from the amazing people that I get to work with and the investors and things like that. One is like going to the gym or like working out, and I'm not like a big beefy guy at all, but just like going to the gym for half an hour, 5 days a week or whatever is just beautiful, more for the mind than the body. And then second is voice notes, in a weird way, because I use them to decompress at the end of the day, and it might be voice noting my friend, or it might be just recording a voice note of like what's happened in the day. But like, voice notes on WhatsApp or just to myself have really helped me clear my mind at the start or at the end of the day. So almost like my own personal therapist. So those are the things that have worked for me, for sure.
Oh, I love that.
Alex,
So
that's
cool.
so wonderful.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Um, yeah, I same as both of y'all. I think and coming into this too, just boundaries, and like everybody should go to therapy, but in therapy you should learn how to make boundaries. And I think that actually in our modern day is more important, especially when you're doing something like music. You're so passionate about the music space, music and music industry, and your life kind of collides if that's kind of the world that you live in, right? Like more so than I think. I don't know. If I ran like a fintech startup, first of all, I would never do that. But second of all, like I would probably not be as like finance. I don't know. Some people are. But for me, I'm like with music, it's my whole, it's everything. It's what I talk about, it's what I do, it's my friends, it's like built in. So it's hard because you really have to create those boundaries around that. There was a time where I didn't want to listen to new music anymore, right? Like there's just things like that, but now I do. But like you have to heal yourself and continue to kind of like build that muscle, that strength. Yeah, work out, meditate, take vacations, take trips. Like it's life still happens. That's the other thing. I got married. Like, it's like life still happens while you're running your startup. It's like, thank you. But it's important, to be able to be like, I am a person and this just happens to be my job that I also just really love. And then it's being in that little, I guess, triforce of things. So
Yes, totally agree. Diana, any parting thoughts?
Just build it.
Just build it. Just go. Just go for it. Well, thank you so much, everyone. This has been an amazing session. It's been slightly chaotic on my end, but all good. I've had so much fun talking to all of you. If you have any more questions, then I guess feel free to message the founders if they don't mind.
Yeah.
I know they've got super busy calendars, but yeah, they're very nice people, as you can see. But yeah, thank you so much, Christine. Thank you to everyone in the audience. We've had a great time.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Christine, you're muted, I think.
Yeah, I can't hear you this time.
I'm just gonna add my.
We're working on it, guys.
You're doing great.
Well, thank you. Was what I was saying. This was a really fun panel. I was laughing along all the way. Great to see you all. Thank you for the questions, everyone. Thank you for all the comments. It sounds like a whole lot of people made some new friends in the comments today, so I love that. And yeah, we're gonna go on to our next session. So thank you to my moderator, thank you to our panelists, and I'll see you all in the next session.
Thanks, Christine. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.